Thank you. Thank you. Never thought such a moment will ever come in my life. I am having a feeling like first appearance in a court known to be very tough. It's a difficult moment for me. When I look around in the audience and on the dais, I am having a sinking feeling. Looking at former Chief Justice N.K. Jain, who took my enrollment form and got me enrolled in the Bar Council. Former Chief Justice Yadra Meena ji, Justice P.C. Jain Sahab, only to name a few here. I have been placed in an unparalleled manner by members of the bar and bench. I am humbled, I am overwhelmed. Nothing can be more satisfying, energizing than this, a moment I would ever cherish. What I am today, it is only on account of members of the bench and bar. And this date, I am confident I will not be able to discharge. Such moments, very difficult, are rare in one's life. This is my parent bar. I have been extremely lucky in getting support of the members of the bar from all over the state while being elected to Bar Council or as president of this association. I call it sheer coincidence and luck that I came to be designated within 11 years of my practice. I need, however, to indicate the kind words of the preceding speakers in their address, particularly Honorable Acting Chief Justice, may not be taken very seriously. He was never a junior lawyer. He had roaring practice, and we ensured that he be on our side rather than being on the opposite side. And four such lawyers in Chhattisgarh, whom I feared the most, are now judges. Prashantji being one of them, Biduri being another. Kosi, of course, was always by my side. Therefore, that part may be taken with a pinch of salt. Secondly, Honorable the Acting Chief Justice belongs to a family that has legal giants. I have drawn inspiration, guidance, and mentorship from his elder brother, who is on a platform of legal acumen, one of the best in the country. Chairman Bar Council was too kind, and I am grateful for my wife for keeping silence. There are many in the audience, including Chief Justice retired Justice Chauhan, who know who can be an insider. I always fear the people who have that input, and many are here. But lawyers, I trust them, they will never betray. About retired judges, I leave it to your sound sense of discretion. I have never believed in the doctrine of indispensability. No one is indispensable. It is disservice to humanity and civility, and a great outrage on rich human resource. When someone told me that a worthy man has become vice president, I told him, give me 3 minutes, I'll give you 100 names who are far more qualified than I am, will do the job much better, and we can pick many from here also. My wife, who is certainly not better half, as was indicated, I am in fear and awe of her. All of you know it. Virendra Lodha knows it more. He tries to create a record for himself, but I am far ahead. She told me in 2019, I don't want you to continue as a senior advocate or advocate. You must give up practice. And her problem was very different. Unknown to the people at large, or even to the fraternity, she was concerned that Lakshmi was very kind to me. And she was worried at my acquisition of property and land. She wanted to bring an end to this. So it was under tremendous pressure of the family that I favored her, really favored her, on 30th of July 2019 by giving a grand goodbye to the jealous mistress. Ever since we were married, I have been an advocate. So I kept company of the jealous mistress. I'll give you an example, a quote, which will indicate that a jealous mistress has to be dealt with in a particular manner. All my life, Mrs. Dhankad, Dr. Sudesh Dhankad will not take offense at it, because when it comes to her, I have no friends in the audience, they are on her side. I really took full care of the jealous mistress. I believed in the jealous mistress. I missed the jealous mistress. But as luck would have it, I still threatened her that after my term as governor comes to an end, I would go to the legal profession. And I told her, enough is left in me. Others do not know, but you know it. She said, that will not happen. My nomination as Vice President candidate of the NDA came to me as a big surprise. Absolutely as a big surprise. But then it fructified her wish. It will now be difficult for me, though legally I can, to go back to the profession. Over these 3 years, I have had several memories, and I have had great void in my life also. Memories, I'll tell you why. I have found no answer so far to Mr. Abhay Kumar Bhandari, but when I gathered that he is married in Kolkata, मैंने कहा ऊंट पहाड़ के तले आया है. But before I could execute my plan, qua him, I am not there. So he has been lucky, both at the electorate and otherwise. If I look back, my life has been shaped by judges and lawyers. I was extremely lucky. God was kind to me that I could join the office of Justice Tibrewal. A man enormously talented, committed to ethics and professionalism. He set very high standards. I was beneficiary. I must also recognize the great learning I had from Justice Vinod Shankar Dave. He was always on the other side. And sometimes the other side can teach you more. I am greatly touched by the message I have got from him today. Really greatly touched. And this was after I had spoken to Justice Tibrewal, my guru, my mentor, and the most important man in my life. The Sahib says, I quote, I ought to have been present in your felicitation ceremony tomorrow, being organized by Bar Council of Rajasthan, obviously a very senior member of Bar Council. In my own right as an oldest bar councillor for 2 decades, I should have been present and offered my felicitation, but I deeply regret my inability due to ill health these days. And what he says next. I offer my heartiest congratulations and best wishes for your promising future, as I know the orbit of your soul. My blessings to both of you. I know he meant every word of it. We miss Mrs. Dave. Every time I threatened Justice V.S. Dave that the appellate authority in the House is on my side. With her departure, I have reconciled. Others who had deep impact on me as judges, some of them my contemporaries, some junior to me. I will single out for mention some of them. Former Chief Justice, Justice R.M. Lodha. His court craft, his level of preparation, his way of dress, his way of exclusivity, all remarkable. And when it came to arguing a case, I have never seen him being less than the very best. Justice G.S. Singhvi, we are beholden to him for choosing Jaipur and not Jodhpur. The learned Advocate General will not take it otherwise. Because by being a member of the bar at Jaipur, Justice Singhvi inspired many. He created, as a matter of fact, a fleet of lawyers dedicated with directional approach. But as I often say, in service jurisprudence, Mahendra Shah is more diversified. Amongst the judges or younger, Justice Rastogi has been telling quite often that I was instrumental in helping him with his first writ petition. Right. But thereafter, His rise was geometric. He never looked back. And one common feature we had was all those who happened to be very good lawyers also managed to be president of the Bar Association. My tenure in particular as president was marked by the presence of a very towering secretary, Virendra Dangiji, and I came to know nothing was possible, Honorable Acting Chief Justice, unless I keep him on my right side. The rules were so worded that only secretary can do everything and I can do nothing. I recall we had a dinner at Pink City Hotel where I made only one modest demand, where in the rules you have president, letters of secretary. He's a very dear friend of mine. Very dear friend of mine. One of those dear friends whom we fear the most. When I look from this side to that side, each one of the lawyers here, and I think Maluji is not here, but I can see Mr. R.N. Mathur and of course J.K. Singhi should retire given the extraordinary performance of another member in the family. When I look at A.K. Sharma ji and everyone, it will be wrong for me to name people. Wrong, because I will miss out the names and have a sleepless night. So all I can tell you that all that has happened was just not possible without the support of the members of the bar. I came from a village and it was for the first time Sagarmalji Mehta, actually not Sagarmalji Mehta, his wife, who treated us like her children, hosted us, gave confidence to Mrs. Dhankad, and I don't call her doctor, then perhaps she may be offended. She got it recently. So her role was very different. But Sagarmalji continued it. I will always miss the great legal acumen of late C.K. Garg Sahab, Bajranglalji Sharma. In their own field, they were towering giants. And therefore, without adverting much on this aspect, thank you. I am there because of the bar and bench, and that puts on my burden, puts on my shoulders a great burden. I am accountable to bar and bench. I will have to be transparent. All my actions will have to be guided by rule of law and constitutionalism. We need, as members of the bar and bench on this occasion, and looking to the present scenario in the country, to remember and enforce. I wouldn't say it came from Justice Joseph Story in 1829. It is there in our ethos. It is there in our civilizational situations. And that is one, I'm quoting now. It has been said in our scriptures also, what I advocated a while ago. The law is a jealous mistress and requires long and constant courtship. It is not to be won by trifling favors, but by lavish homage, unquote. Now that requires something to be given back to the society. It is time that we indicate to the world at large that none is above the law. Everyone is accountable. If any institution gets away from scrutiny, probe, that is the surest way to bring about its degeneration. Lawyers in particular have to be watchdogs. The country, while being on the rise, only last week we have become fifth largest economy of the world, getting UK out of it, those who ruled us for long. So a lawyer now has to focus beyond the litigation in hand. Never ever in the history of this country with such kind of progress, development, incremental rise on all elements, there have been more challenges. If I had not been Governor West Bengal, I would have been unaware of it. In 1989, as Member Parliament, I had 50 gas connections in a year. And that was taken as a big power in the hands of an MP. Imagine in our country, more than 170 million people have got it free. I have known it out of my own experience during COVID. 90 crore people were fed. No one in the world can rival it. The condition in the US, Manhattan in particular, where they boast of a very robust health infrastructure, all of us know it. People were dying in the corridors of London hospitals. Situation was no better. In Germany, very powerful economy, France and Italy. In none of those countries, none, another institution was functional. They allowed the executive to handle it the way they wished to. In our country, where we are required to subscribe in all sublimity to the doctrine of separation of powers, the institutions are required to confine to their legitimate constitutional domain. Howsoever subtle, non-invasive incursion by one in the domain of the other will start as a ripple, and our media can convert it into tsunami by high decibel coverage. Prime responsibility lies with the members of the bar associations, and statutory bodies like Bar Council at state and central level. As a body, they are required to reflect. I am a strong votary that without free, fair, independent judiciary, democracy cannot blossom. Cannot. It is required that highest regard be imparted for our judges. Judges are not in a position to defend themselves. The bar has to take a look at it. There are some issues, and they are with all institutions, not with judiciary, executive, or legislature alone. There are issues. But one thing, these days, a secret is an open secret. Howsoever careful we may be, whether it is working in the executive or legislature or judiciary, what happens in a particular meeting or otherwise, which is supposed to be secret and confidential, is an open secret. And the problem is that we dare not reflect on open secrets. So if silent majority chooses on such critical aspects that matter hugely to our democratic governance as a nation, where challenges emanate from every corner of the world, you can have it from me. A silent majority keeping silence for too long is bound to be silenced forever. Historically, no organization has contributed to humanity's larger welfare than that of legal fraternity. I am sure this will be taken note of. As a foot soldier of the bar and bench, in the light of experience I have gained recently, I wish to put a point for thought and deep consideration. In democracy, it is paramount, quintessential, that primacy of the opinion of the people is respected by all institutions. Opinion of the people is reflected under our constitutional scheme of things through their representatives. And this issue has to be addressed in an organized manner by bar associations and members of the bar. Mrs. Dhankar always cautions me that I speak longer than I indicate. And slight response from the audience makes me believe she is right. So, I conclude, I am grateful. Nothing could be more representative from the perspective of bar than the people are before me. I am beholden. I have no words whereby I can express my gratitude for presence of retired judges and chief justices, senior counsels. Most of them were head and shoulders above me in their field, and they acted as a guiding force for me. I only undertake that as members of this august institution, I will never conduct myself in a manner that can generate a thought in your mind that I should not have acted in that manner. But while holding a position is binary strength, is a fundamental requirement. Judges show it every day in very difficult situations when they listen to illustrious legal luminaries and have to take a call. I am also somewhat, in my present role, in a judgmental position. I will keep the sentiment and expectation of the bar always in mind. Once again, on my behalf of Dr. Sudesh Dhankar, we express our deep sense of gratitude. Never ever thought I will have galaxy of people before me who happen to be more talented, more kind-hearted, to be felicitating me. Thank you so much.
We are really thankful